Hello everybody, welcome to Indigo Tarot Odyssey. How is everybody? I wanted to pop back into the Light and Dreams Oracle deck because I just find it so beautiful and ethereal. And sometimes when I reuse the cards, there's different insights that come through outside of the book and what it means. For instance, the unicorn, I love this because this is all about inviting the magic in. Looking around and what we normally would just glance over and maybe take for granted. It could be anything, a sprouting new tomato plant or a sunflower we see on the side of the road, just stopping and really relishing in that moment, that new growth, the abundance that's around us. Magical places are always beautiful and they deserve to be contemplated. And when we stay on that bridge between the invisible and the visible, we really get to see things. Oh, I see my cat working her way towards here. You know, we can work our way towards how everything is majestic and wonderful and keep our eyes peeled for that. Reasons to be excited, reasons to have this amazing, healthy sense of awe with all that is out there. I was reading this thing the other day about how our self-image shapes how we see the path ahead and magically what the path also provides. And the unfolding of our life is really this beautiful collaboration between you and the divine. And the healthier your self-image, the more authentic your expression and the more magnetic you become. And I love that unicorn energy because it is like, wow, there's so much magical, fantastical things yet to be explored. And that's some of the stuff that gets me out of bed and gets me excited for the day. You know, what cool conversations am I going to have with people? What artwork am I going to discover? What new insights? What's going to come through channeling? What wonderful moments am I going to have with my family, with a neighbor, with my insane animals and menagerie of nutty creatures that come in my yard? Because it's all sorts all the time. Which brings us to the Dragon's Lair. And I love this because in the book it talks about not judging a book by its cover. And at the end of the book it says it would be interesting to find out what goes on in that moment when someone looks at you and draws all sorts of conclusions. And asking ourselves, do we do that? Do we do that about companies? Do we just take something, something verbatim? Oh, okay, that's safe because so-and-so says this. And then it's funny, remember like in the day when everybody was like, smoking, and I honestly believe that I've heard people say that in that day they were saying that like smoking was good for your lungs, it expands your lungs, like way back in the 50s or whatever. And people were like, oh, you don't say, give me a puff or two, you know what I mean? But like everything now, when people are like, well, what about carcinogens and this and that, when people, before things are truly investigated, we can take things at someone's word. But if you get that kind of I don't know so much about that feeling and you want to investigate, do that as well. That could be working for a company. I know that it wouldn't matter the paycheck if I found out that I worked for a company that did, really unscrupulous things, whether it was ruining the environment or whatever it was, that kind of thing. And sometimes in big business, there can be a pretty facade in front of that when there really could be problematic behaviors behind those. That's kind of like the Dragon's Lair. Investigate, find out. And I feel like this is a time when you get the unicorn card in there of really new valuable insights and approaches to life and new friendships, which brings us to Moonflight. And I don't think I've seen that in the book yet. I don't think I looked it up or know about it. So I'm going to have a quick peek over there and we're going to see what that's about. I love this card so much. Hey, wonderful. It is about following your dreams. This is about your ambitions, your goals, your diligence, and your perseverance. It's funny because there are people out there that may try to dampen our ambitions and our dreams by saying, whoa, you have unrealistic or unobtainable aims. Don't let other people's doubts hold you back, and prove them wrong by embracing all the challenges and letting go of the negativity or excuses that keep you stuck. Because sometimes we can say, oh, well, that's going to be, insurmountable. That obstacle is going to be too much. This is going to cost too much time, blah, 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 resources or whatever. If it is something that you feel deep, deep in your heart that it's something you want to try, take step towards it every single day. It could be learning a language. It could be taking a course. I know for some people, I'm like so happy when I read that people, in their 50s and 60s are like, oh, I'm going to take the bar exam. I'm going to do this. I'm going to fly to Europe. I remember my grandmother had traveled pretty much every country you could legally travel to. And I was always in awe of her stamina too, because she could eat like a horse and she was amazing. She was so strong. And she had MS, she had a cane, and she had specially made shoes. And this was my stepfather's mother, Grandma Jane. I just thought she was so brilliant. She was so curious about everything and cultures, and well into her 80s, just like getting on a plane and going for it, getting on a cruise and going for it. Had all these wild stories and these neat interactions with people, and was curious every single day, of her life. And it was one of the most magnificent things, because that reminded me of moon flight. If she could conceive it, she was there. If she read something about a country, she was flying there within a week. I remember one time she was like, "Oh, you should see my flowers." And I was thinking, oh, she has like before I went to her house the first time, and she was like, "Oh, I can't wait to show you my flowers." So I thought, oh, she's going to have like a little flower bed. She had it looked like an arboretum, like something that a horticulture society would have. This greenhouse that she had built, filled with these really precious, like rare orchids. And like she knew everything about like temperature, moisture control, all this stuff. And at this point, she was in her late 60s, and honestly, she moved around like a 20-year-old. It was incredible. Just like, oh, I got to check the orchids, I have to do this. Just always having something that fascinated her. And she was an absolute genius also, because when she worked for the phone company, instead of getting paychecks, she said, just turn it into the stocks, because they had that option in the 50s or whatever, something like that. So she just, AT&T, stocks. Boom, when she passed away, my stepfather was, oh, guess what? By the way, I'm now a millionaire, because my grandmother had millions of dollars in AT&T stock, because she's like, I'm married to a navalman. I don't need a paycheck. I'll just get these stocks, and just socked them away. And I thought that was just so fantastic. And I was like, what a lady. That's a moon flight lady, just going for it. I feel that this is one of those things where 20 years from now, you would be more disappointed by the things that you didn't do than by the ones that you did. So throw off those bow lines and sail away from the safe ideas, the safe harbor, and get out there and just really set sail for all your dreams. Say yes to them. And of course, anything that's out of our comfort zone, we need a little push, right? We need a little direction. But think and feel what it'd be like to experience that. Whatever it is, just say, if you are in Marrakesh in a bazaar, just shopping, or going to the Louvre, or going down the Nile, whatever it is like that you can conceive, start to picture yourself and visualize yourself there, and what it would feel like, and what it would smell like, and what it would look like, and all of that. And be like, why am I? And a lot of times, I know things have expense, but that's when we start to measure what is worth saving our resources for, what is worth investing, and I always feel like travel is definitely one of those. But I love this combination of all of this, because it says get out there and experience the magic and see it all, and question things, and really live life the way you'd be proud, to tell your children or your grandchildren how you lived it. So my beauties, that is what you were meant to hear today. My name is Melanie. Thanks so much for tuning in. If you need a private read, all my information is in the description box. And if you're new to my channel, thanks so much for tuning in. Don't forget to press like and subscribe, and have a great day.